Okay, hello teachers. This is the instruction guide for primary 3, term 3, week 12. For this week, there are 2 booklets, and the first one will be on word problems. Okay, so early on they have done book 1, right? If I remember correctly, they have done book 1. So we're going to do book 2 out of 2, right, for word problems, and this is for length, mass, and volume. The second booklet is on what do you call that again? The heuristics. Now, for this booklet, the emphasis is on the change question. All right. So the question, if you notice, right, based on this example question here, how much pasta was there in the jar at first? Right. So one of the things that we ask students to identify the question, right, when they see the word at first, it means they need to work backwards. Now, I will just skip this explanation bit and go straight into guided practice. And you guys, although as per normal, although the model is already drawn there, right? For this one, I would like you to draw the model together with them. So to start off with, get them to analyze the question, right? So you read the question. Charles had some cloth. He bought another 850 centimeters of cloth from a textile store. Then he used all the cloth he had to make 4 identical shirts. He used 260 centimeters of cloth for each shirt. How much cloth did Charles have first? So we get the student to be aware, as long as, you know, when they see a question asking what happens at first rather than what happens at the end, okay, the approach to doing this is going backwards. Now, to do the question backwards, or drawing the model, you know, like backwards, what I mean by backwards is you draw the model based on the later information rather than from the start. So one of the things that they need to look is there were some changes here, which is why the question is asking what happens at first. So they have to identify where the first change is. All right. So Charles had some cloth. He bought another 850 centimeters of cloth. This is the first change. Right. The first change is here. Sorry, I don't seem to be able to write well today. So this is change 1. All right. He then used all the cloth he had to make 4 identical shirts. Okay, and this is change 2. Okay, this is change 2. Right, so you get into it. So it's change 1, change 2. So in order to do the question, right, what they need to do first is now to draw the model backwards. So the first thing that we're going to do is before change 2. What happened before change 2? So we know that he used 260 centimeters of cloth for each shirt. So one group is 260 cm. Okay, typically, actually, this is the way that they should write it instead, right? So here it's scaffolded, really drawn for them, which is why I prefer that you draw it up for them, right? So he used for 260 for each of cloth for each shirt. How many shirts are there? There are 4. So there should be 4 groups. Okay, so the students need to draw 4 groups. Okay, and then based on this information, right, they need to find out what is the number before change number 2. So in this case, the equation will be 4 times 260 cm. All right, take them this through process, and then you can calculate. And the answer is 1040 cm. Okay, now they need to draw the next part of the model. Going backwards, now this is before change 1. So they know that they already have 1000, they know that before change 1, right, or rather before change 2, sorry. Before change 2, that is 1040, right? So this is 1040. Now what happens in change 1? So change 1, it says here, he bought another 850 cm cloth. Right, so that means that before getting 1040, he bought 860. So hence, meaning at first he doesn't have 1040. He bought 850 cm and then have 1040. So the question is, what is this? Okay, so this is the way to get them to do to work backwards using the bar model method, right? The other bar model method, right? The other method, right, is I don't think we should do it at P3, right? We will talk about it in P4, right? So okay, that's the first one. Okay, and then you can get them to practice the second one, right? Or if you like, draw maybe let's draw the model together. Let's co-model with them again for the second one. Okay, show them how to do this. Okay, question 2. And then you may then get them to do, okay, this is not really, okay, this one is not really a change question. Okay, get them to do question 2, right, on their own. Okay, question 2 on their own. All right, and then you might want to get them, guide them along. After that, you can do a few of the other questions. I would suggest doing questions number 4 because it's a bit different. Okay, and then you can get them to question 6 to try on their own. For homework, right, you can assign the change questions to them, which is, you know, you don't have to do everything, but they will focus on the change question. So question 8, right, and then question 10, okay, it's also a change question. And then question 13 is also a change question. Now, if you have time, right, I will also suggest you doing 12 because question 12 is a bit complex. They need to piece 2 information together, right? So if you look at this question here, Miss Adams bought 1 bag of peas and 4 bags of potatoes, right? And all bags of the same mass. Then she used some potatoes to make some dishes. And then she realized that she has 418 grams of potato left, which was 200 grams less than the amount of peas. Okay, so hence they need to figure out, right, what is the mass of peas left and what's the mass of potato left. Now, because all the bags are the same mass, right, so you can actually later on draw it like that. Once you figure out how much are the peas, right, and you know that the peas is 1 bag of peas and 4 bags of potato, so it's 1, right, and then 2, 4. Okay, so this question may be a bit difficult for them, hence you might want more. Okay, now next question to do will be the heuristics. For heuristics, okay, so for heuristics, these are interesting questions to do. And I would say skip the teaching part and go straight into the guided practice, right? The idea here is that it's a typical kind of question where somebody, you know, is to set up a lamppost or a flower pot, right? And then, you know, at the start of the line, you know, there will be a flower pot or there'll be a lamppost. And then every 5 meters, right, the interval of the gap, right, they place this more. And then given that the length of the line, right, is 30 meters, how many flower pots are there? Okay, so the main thing here they need to know is they need to see a pattern here, and you should draw it up for them. So remind them that that is at the start there's really 1 tree, so you can actually use dot if you don't want to use lines, right? Sometimes I can just use dots. This is a tree, but if you want to extend it to show there's a tree, that's fine. So tell them that there's a tree at the start, and then every 5 meters, right? There's another one, okay, all the way to 38 meters. So because this is short, you want to elaborate, show them how to do it, right? Get them to draw 35, 15, right? 20, 25, 30. So 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, right? And this will be at the 30-meter mark. And this will be starting from 0. And the question is, how many trees does the gardener need to plant along a path that has 30 meters, given that the gap is 5 meters. So if they draw this, right, and then they count, they just do a manual way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? They get answer 7. Now, is there a shortcut to doing it? There is, okay, by understanding how many gaps there are. So the gap is 5 meters, the total length is 30, right? So 30 divided by 5 equals 6. Now, some of you will say, yeah, but then there are 7 trees. Why is it 6? So this is where you remind them that there's a pattern. When you do this method, the first tree is not counted. All right, look at it, right? So one group of 5 is 1 tree. 6 group of 5 is 6 trees, right? But let's not forget, there is the first tree here. So it's always 6 plus 1. So they always use this method, but they can, the distance, right, divided by the gaps, the distance between of each gap, and then you got to add the first one, right? This is provided that there's the condition that there is 1 tree at the start. Okay, so you can teach them this method. And then we might want to challenge them, right? So if there are 100 trees, or sorry, there are 100 meters, the length, what should it be? So now that you have taught them this, right? Okay, you can get them to use this method to try and solve B. Okay, let's see how they go, right? And then you may intervene, and I think you should, right? Even there may be students who get it correct, right? Explain how you do it, right? Which is 100 divided by 5, and then you add this one. Okay. After that, you may get them to do one independent practice on their own, maybe the first one. And I think time should be up by then, right? Please assign perhaps 2 or 3 questions for them. Okay, and that's it for this week's homework. Okay, all right, thank you.